Good to go. You ready to go? Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. I just want to thank you so much for coming out for Extraordinary Over Ordinary. That is the series that I have, but the actual talk that I'll be sharing with you all today will be dealing with Carpe Diem for student success, extraordinary student success. My name is Darren Palmer. Say, hey, Darren.
Hey,
Darren. Okay. All right. Now, the things about Carpe Diem, having extraordinary leadership, comes with a mentality. It's all about mentality. Before you can understand what the mentality that I'm talking about, I'm going to just share my story just for a little bit. All of us want success, don't we? Can I get a show of hands? Everybody wants success? Put your hands down. Do we want the students at our campus to be more involved? Can I get a show of hands for that? Okay, put your hands down. Are we willing to put in the work that it takes to see our campus have extraordinary results? Can I get a show of hands for all those who believe in that? Okay, hands down. Now, even though everybody in the room chose to raise their hand, a lot of people on our campuses don't want to put in the actual work that it takes. And it starts with a mentality. Well, how can you say that, Darren? Because I was one of those students who didn't want to put in the work. Now, for those who I gave my new published book, Extraordinary Over Ordinary, Believing the Impossible is Possible, what came to mind for me to even write that book was looking at my own personal story. Now, me coming from a small Northeast Texas rural area, things wouldn't just start out the right way. It wouldn't Leave It to Beaver. I know I'm giving my age a little bit, but my parents watched Netflix a little bit, and Nick at Night, my grandparents did. So I caught a lot of those old shows, and it wasn't the Brady Bunch, so to speak. I actually was born to a teenage mom. And believe it or not, lo and behold, this was far ahead of if you got pregnant early that you would be able to get an endorsement deal and you would be able to be on MTV and you'd be able to be in Teen Magazine. So they ostracized her and put it away. But more than anything, a woman that I love greatly, my grandmother, all she knew was that her baby was having a baby. My mom getting pregnant around 15 years old, getting ready to have me at 16 years old was the talk of the town. But what was a blessing and a curse sometimes ended up saving my life. Because with the tension that they had in the early 80s, the late 70s and early 80s when I was about to be born, as far as abortion clinics, my grandmother, the only thing she could think of is that I don't want my child's life ruined by having a child too early. I want her to go to college. I want her to have the best. I want her to get married. What are the people around town? What will they think? As they took me to the abortion clinic, I'm in my mom's womb. They get her on the table. She lays back. My grandmother's sitting there holding her hand, crying profusely. My mom really don't want to go through with it, but she's following the advice of my grandmother. The doctor checked, and just so happened, the same thing that I was made fun of when I was on the playground actually saved my life. I had a big head. It's all right to laugh. It's all right to laugh, you know what I'm saying? But that saved my life. But the thing was, I was big for my size. So when the physician came in and saw that, wait a minute, this kid is farther along than we thought. Actually, I wasn't. But because I was big for as a child, they thought that I had went further along. My mom had carried me further along, and they couldn't do it because it would be illegal. So growing up with that, not to say the abortion thing was something that stayed on my mind, but I feel like I was unwanted. The next problem that I had was coming up, lo and behold, my dad, before I was able to even see him, was sent to prison. So growing up, knowing that I was supposed to be aborted, growing up not knowing who my father was at the time because it was a teenage fling. You know how it is sometimes. I don't know, some of y'all come from different areas, but we're from Texas, so it's a lot of strange things that happen at pastor parties and, and bonfires. I mean, a little alcohol get passed, and next thing you know, you got a love child, and now all of a sudden you wake up and realize, well, I wanted to play football in college. Well, I want to go and do nursing, but all of a sudden we got a child coming. What do we do? So they came up with that, and I'm not trying to persuade you either way. All I know is I'm just sharing my story. So growing up in a situation, coming up where I'm in low-income housing, so guess what? The role models that I had since my dad wasn't in my life was the hustlers, the dope dealers, the pimps, or all that. Now, people can say, oh, that's a bad influence. But all I knew was that was the only male figure that showed me some love. That was the only male figure that if I scored a touchdown would say, here, little man, here, $5. You had a good game. Now, they might end up on the local news later on that night, but all I knew was that they gave me a piece of candy when I made a couple of baskets for my little dribblers game. So the process of feeling inferior, the process of feeling like I was unwanted, my mom having me at 16 years old, being pregnant again before she graduated high school. Well, we like to say it all the time that we graduated several times, me and my brother, because we walked across the stage with my mom for high school. So we said we all graduated at the same time. When she went and got her associate degree, we walked around too, like, yay, mom. You know, we didn't realize all the crowd was clapping. You know, we had, I don't know about you, but a lot of African American and homes back in the day, they put the Vaseline on your head. I had a fresh haircut. I was beaming. You could see me in the back of the auditorium. I had my hair, I had my church suit on. I was ready to go to see my mom graduate. So overcoming those situations was hard for me. So extraordinary leadership means a lot to me because I had to change my mindset. I had to change the people that I hung around with. Because it was a high school counselor that chose to pour into me, that chose to expose me to bigger things, expand my horizons, I was able to look at life differently. So I went from a kid who didn't like to read, didn't like school, to most of you who showed up already, I was able to give you my newest publication. Now I've been able to write 3 or 4 books because of the change in the mindset. So you think of yourself, how did this young man who came from a teenage love fling, who didn't know his father, who had all this hate inside of him because why can't my dad throw the football with me? Why can't somebody take me to Boy Scouts? Guess what? I think I would have been a heck of a baseball player, but my mom didn't have the funding for me to be able to play. So I came up with all that I call Excuseville and realized that, you know what, Darren, it's all on you. It's all on you. If you want a better life, it's not about if somebody's white. It don't matter what background they come from. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic place they are in life. It all matters about what you choose to do and what you choose to do with your personal space. So I chose to choose my personal space, involving myself with organizations who were moving further. A lot of you serve for as SGA. A lot of you serve for student life in different organizations on your campus. So it starts with us making the difference. It starts with us making the difference, focusing on knowing that we have to take it to the next level. How many of you ready to take it to the next level on your campus? Okay, you can put your hands down. So the extraordinary over ordinary piece deals with us seeing what can we do. First, let's start with why. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we doing? And I know it sounds cliche, but I'm not here to give you any fluff. I'm not here to waste your time. I know that your advisor sent you in here, but I'm really starting with why. Because everything that I chose to do, when I wanted to be a great football player, guess what? I trained at it. I worked at it. I live and breathe being an actual great football player. I went to camps. I worked out on it. When I was off the game, I was studying the game. I studied film to be the best that I possibly could be. But for some reason, we choose to think that our organization or our school is going to go to the next level as far as leadership without doing the same things that I chose to do in football. How many of us are really studying and finding ways and getting training to make our organization the best that it could be? Are we typically satisfied with ordinary? Are we typically satisfied with just saying, oh, guess what? I got title. Guess what? I ran and got vice president. Well, yeah, of course, you're a part of the frat. You know a few people in town. So nobody else didn't even want the position. So, yeah, you got the position. But how many lives are being changed by that now? We have to make sure that we understand our why. A lot of guys, me being the one, I went to college. You want to know the reason I really went to college? I went to college because I was watching BET, and at that time, BET would show the historical black colleges on TV. And all I knew was that at halftime, they had some girls that came out there dancing at halftime with those bands. And I seen the battle of the bands, and I said, I had an aha moment, an epiphany. I said, I'm going to college. If they look like that, I am going to college. Now, can I be real? I'm not here to be stuffy. I'm not your Toastmaster type of speaker. I'm just to be honest with you and sharing my story. And so my why was wrong. Now, it sounded good. It sounded good saying that, oh, I want to go get an education. Oh, I want to go graduate. But my motives for going to college, I knew you were supposed to. My mom had taught me and my parents had taught me that, you need to go get an education and get a good job, but or to do something, maybe run a business or have a life and have benefits that you desire to have a 401k or whatever it may be. But my thought process was in error. Like a lot of us in our organization, our thought process is in error because we really don't know our why. We're just running for it because we're running for it. I know a lot of schools that I go to and I speak with the student leadership, and guess what? They ran just because somebody else told them to run. I mean, they're at the CAF or they're in the UC and somebody say, you know what? I think you'll be good for this position to be secretary. Oh, come to the meeting night. Well, scandal come on, girl, it's Wednesday. They go anyway. And they run for a position and get it because we're lacking in our why. Knowing why are we doing the things that we do. Say, for instance, with my own personal story. Why am I speaking? I'm speaking because at one time I was a menace to society. Believe it or not. The suit and tie and the shiny boots on. Yeah, this guy right here was a menace to society, but I chose to think, you know what? I want to be an asset to society. I want to give back. It's somebody that needs to hear my story. It's somebody who got a low GPA, who's on the verge of being kicked out, who's on academic probation, who don't want to go back and do a job or dig ditches or whatever they don't want to do, but they want a better life, but they just don't know how to get there. So when you do that, I like to say you want to fail forward. Fail forward. Fail forward. If you're going to be in leadership, don't be afraid to fail. So many of us are so uptight. We're so used to, well, I had to be this percentage top of my class. And so we don't take any chances. We don't think outside the box at all. So we come in and do the same type of programs that's been done when our parents went to the university. We're doing the same. Well, we haven't kicked ball at this time. It's spring. So now we got the multicultural thing. Well, we got to find something for Black history. It's February. We don't think outside the box and we start wondering, why aren't people showing up to the things, programs that we put on? Because they know that it's regurgitated, and I don't know about you, but I don't want to go and eat if it's not a good hot meal. Nobody don't want anything that's regurgitated. They don't want something that you just threw up or you threw together. Say, for instance, if you come into this room or you come to a place or if you're dating somebody, you don't want somebody to say, well, I couldn't find anybody else to go out with tonight, so I wanted to go get some pizza. Do you want to come and get in my truck? I mean, I don't know, ladies, is that appealing to you as far as going out with somebody or whoever, woman or male, whoever it may be? You want somebody who's looking at you and focusing on you and saying, hey, I want to hear your needs. I want to hear what's going on in your life. I want to know, how can we help assist you? Are we asking the questions? Are we asking the people? Are we doing polls? Are we going around and listening to people in the UC or wherever the commons area are in your particular university and finding out what are the actual needs of the people that you're trying to serve? Or are we just standing back and worried about having our own little country club? I call it a country club. Kind of feel where we got our own little select group that we hang around and we don't know anything about the people that we're trying to serve. All we know is that we have a position. I love this. My granddad, like I said, I'm a Southern boy, so excuse me. But my granddad loved hunting, and so he would hunt all the time. And I don't know about y'all, but you hadn't had anything unless you had some back straps. But I don't want to get too country on y'all today, so y'all excuse me on that. But he would say, "Shoot first, aim later," and that was our joke all the time. But I realized in life, a lot of times, we're too stuck with our gun in the safety. We won't shoot an idea. If you have a think tank on campus, you're sitting there or with your particular organization, a lot of times we won't shoot at all because we're afraid. Fear cripples us. I don't want to say anything that looks stupid. I don't want to look stupid. Well, you're not going to look stupid. And guess what? You might have that one idea, that one ingredient that's missing out of the plan that's keeping people from going to the next level. They wouldn't have chosen you to be a part of the organization if they didn't think that you could do a great job at it, if they didn't think that you could lead the organization to the next level. So you must be willing to shoot first and aim later. I'll show some of y'all if y'all come by my booth. I'm in booth 71, but you'll see that I don't change my first book that I wrote. The first book that I wrote came from me really not knowing what I was doing at the time. Nobody in my community and my family had ever written a book before. So you know what I took? I took a picture that I had did. Me and my brother took a picture for my mom's birthday celebration, and we went out to the lake and had somebody shoot some photography pictures. I didn't even have any really professional pictures. So you know what I did? I cropped it, baby. Like APCA, baby. Say APCA, baby. All right, all right, all right. So I cropped that thing. I was like, hey, I'm going in. I'm going all this. Say I'm going in. I'm going in. I'm going in to do what I desire to do. I said, I got this book in me. It's a passion. It's a fire. I got to get it out. But you know what came to my mind? All that I couldn't do. You can't do that. You don't know anything about writing a book. Who in your family ever wrote a book? Dude, are you serious? Are you serious right now? You who barely passed World Lit, you were trying to write a book? But I had to quiet the demons that were laying inside of me for us trying to keep me crippled by thinking with a lack mentality, by thinking with a scarcity mentality, with thinking about you can't do it mentality. I had to focus on what do I have? That's the next thing that I want you to focus on. Shoot first, aim later. But another thing is start. Start where you are. Don't come up with excuses. Well, I can't do this. The school hasn't given us enough budget. If our department head would write us a bigger check, and if we had this, well, if whoever's in office, if they wouldn't have cut funding to our program, we would be able to do something. I mean, guess what? It starts from the head, and then it works down to the rest of your organization or the rest of your student body. Because if you, as the leadership, the cream, if y'all start off with the mentality of that we can't do it, how in the world do you expect the rest of the university to feel like I can? When they hear you walking around, well, we can't do this. Becky, I don't know what we're going to do. We can't throw this event. I mean, how are we going to do it on this shoestring budget? I just don't understand. We cannot do it. I know, Melissa, and I told Jenna, if you want me to put this thing on, do you know how much it costs to rent that building out? We did it last year, and we went into the red. We have to get the right funding. So why don't we think of something different? Why don't we use social media to connect with people? Why don't we get where people are already connected? Why don't we throw a mixer on social media? Why don't we throw a Snapchat mixer? Why don't we get on Periscope and use the resources that we have if we can't touch the whole student body, if we can't do it? Make it fun. They don't know. Who told you that you had to rent out a building for $1,500? Who told you had to go get catering for $3,500? Is that the only way they would connect? The rest of the world are finding ways to connect. The rest of the world are finding ways to use the skills and the resources that we have available through the great minds like a Zuckerberg and the great minds that we have of other people in this country and outside the country who've given us the tools that we need to go to the next level. But are we willing to go through the pain? And this is something else that we got to understand with leadership and carpe diem, seizing the day that keeps us from it. Guess what? While you're in school, a great friend of mine, he played for the Miami Hurricanes. His name was Chris Campbell. Me and Chris Campbell played. We went to the state semifinals with each other. We played in Texas Stadium with each other. I mean, this was an outstanding guy. He meant a lot for me. But he was getting ready to go pro. He was with the University of Miami. And next thing you know, I got a report when I was on campus serving. Guess what? Chris has passed away. And I don't know about you. I don't know if you play sports. I don't know if I feel that y'all in student leadership. If it's somebody that you're working with closely on a regular day, it's a bond that you have if you work with someone on a regular basis. I mean, you might have your spats, but at the end of the day, I got your back and you have mine. So seeing Chris right there on the cusp of going to the NFL, and we was living through him too. Like, hey, that's my boy. That's Chris. We grew up with each other. And at the prime of his life, seeing him lose his life in a senseless accident. On campus, driving, had a wreck, boom, Chris is gone. So having a student government meeting later on that evening wasn't really on the itinerary anymore. Having a meeting and sharing with the rest of the campus how I felt about student government really wasn't there. Going to the multicultural center really wasn't there for me anymore because of what happened to my friend. And I'm asking each and every one of you, what are you going to do when you're in school, when you're in college, when you work for a company? Guess what? Life happens. And when life happens, how we decide to get back up when we get punched in the face. Mike Tyson, I know it's not good. Mike, I'm the champ. I'm the champ. I'm the champ. I'm the champ. Mike Tyson, I bite your ear off. I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to bite your ear out. I'm going to bite your ear out. I'm going to bite your ear out. I'm the champ. So the champ shared something that was priceless. He says, everybody has a plan until you get hit in the mouth. Yeah. You had a plan to go to college. You had a plan to make your organization the top one on campus. But what happens when you get hit in the mouth and you don't have the budget that you're supposed to have? What happens with a lot of people that you're dealing with, including yourself? What happens if your parents get divorced while you're at school? Do you just give up on your dreams and hope of getting a degree and working in a particular profession that you choose to do because life around you? What happens if grandmother dies, if Meemaw or somebody else passes away while you're in school? Believe it or not, I can't tell you how many that I deal with and I had to counsel while I've been at campus is that, what about that high school relationship that you just knew was going to work with John Earl? You just knew you and John Earl was going to make it, and you was going to go have little pretty babies with the picket white fence, and next thing you know, John Earl is caught on YouTube kissing a girl at the next lake party, and next thing you know, it's over. Just like that with you and John Earl. We must realize we must persevere. We must persevere through the odds. Instead of seeing obstacles, we must see opportunities. Please, if you don't write that down, make sure that you write nothing else down. Make sure you write that down. Instead of seeing obstacles, see opportunities. Opportunities to advance. Opportunities to realize that it's a dire situation. Right when we on that note, as far as that, in my first book, Extraordinary Over Ordinary Stories of Leadership Past and Present, it was a story as far as the carpe diem mentality of how are you seeing a situation. It was a man named Gary Dahl. Now, Gary has a very great story. Gary is driving through a rural area, and next thing you know, he focused on Amanda, and he sees rocks while he's driving. He sees rocks. Now, Ed, me and you, we might see rocks. Ed is out of El Paso, and Ed knows how he's seen rocks out there when he's driving in the desert. So Ed sees rocks, but he don't think anything about it. But Gary comes up with an aha moment. He chose to not see an obstacle. He saw an opportunity where most of us will drive by and see a rock and keep driving and hope it don't tear up our car. See, Gary seen that I can write a PDF. I can write a guide on how people can take care of their rocks and administer taking care of a rock. Now, if any of you have lived any amount of time, we know that rocks really don't need to be kept. A rock can be on the side of the road. It can be in the desert without anybody watering or giving any food to it. Gary came up with the idea of pet rock. Pet rock was a fad, as we talk about now, by going viral before it was a YouTube. He came up with the idea, and he used to give a self-help guide that he gave away for free. And he chose in his mind to see, okay, you know what? I'm going to write this PDF, and I'm going to give that PDF away. Now, if I could just make $1, I'm going to sell it for $3.95. If I can make $1 off every one of them, I'll be all right. Now, I don't mean any harm, but how many of y'all, do anybody got Netflix in here? Netflix, everybody? Okay. Okay, put your hand down. I'm not talking about Netflix and chill, so don't take your mind there early this morning. That might have been late last night, but we want to keep this PG-13, okay? All right, now, with Netflix, this is not Darren coming and sharing about narco. Now, how do you think that your family would deal with it if you seen, Kimberly, that you came and told your family, guess what? I'm going to start selling rocks. They would think you've been watching an episode of The Wire. They would think that you've probably been out of your mind for a thing. You think, rocks? First thing they start thinking, oh, you trying to sell drugs? I sent you to college to get an education. What do you mean you're talking about you're going to sell rocks? Rock cocaine? No, we're not talking about Pablo Escobar here. This is not Colombia that we're talking about. He chose to sell rocks. Now think about how insane that is. That's the next thing. You can't wait for everybody to be like Heinz and Hunt and catch up. You have to be a forward thinker and move ahead of the crowd and wait for them to catch up. Oh, you want everybody else to follow you on Instagram. You want them to follow you on Facebook. You want them to follow you on Twitter. But when it comes to student leadership, all of a sudden, we lose the catch-up mentality. Heinz and Hunt, by the way. You pick your choice which one you like the best. I'm a Hunt's kind of man myself. But we use the follow mentality when it comes to social media, but when it comes to the real world, we don't want people to follow. What we try to do, I want to ease in and fit in with everybody else. Everybody else wearing this color, I'm going to wear this color. Everybody else wearing this type of t-shirt. Now, I'm talking about an event that y'all wearing the same thing, of course. If you represent your school colors, that's not. But I'm saying thinking outside of the box. Somebody else that I want y'all to know of the story of Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, the thing that I love about his story was he chose to think outside the box and wait for everybody else to catch up. Now, being with D.E. Shaw, now, if anybody heard of Jeff Bezos, by show of hand, have you ever heard of Amazon? All right. You heard of Amazon, then you heard of Jeff Bezos probably. Well, he was one of the founder of Amazon. Now, think about it. This guy has went to school. He's highly intelligent. Actually, he's got a prime job on Wall Street where they're about to make him be partner. He's about to partner with a Wall Street firm. He's making over 6 figures, getting close to being 7 figures by going to being partner. And then next thing you know is that he stops the partner and tells them, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. I'm thinking about online retailing. Well, Jeff, how much money have you made? Nothing. Jeff, do they have any fringe benefits? No. Jeff, do you know I'm trying to make you partner? Yes. His actual boss told him to go take a week or 2 off. Make sure that you're making a wise decision. Jeff came back with the conclusion that he was going to fight for his dream instead of just trying to be a part of the Wall Street team. That's how Amazon was started. Now, how ridiculous is that to stand up when you have an opportunity to be partner and you got to go to your family, or if someone's married, or you deal with other things and think about the things that you could buy, and you choose not to go partner, which is a lot of people dream. A lot of people, no matter how hard they work, they will never be able to be partner for a Wall Street firm. Jeff Bezos turned it down, and hundreds of millions of dollars later, he has changed online retail by him having the aha moment and choosing to lead out front. Regardless what are we doing, regardless what we're doing, we must always be conscious of the right now. Carpe diem. That's what Jeff Bezos had. Seize the day. Seize the day. Seize the opportunity to go to the next level. I can't worry about what's going on later on. I can't worry about my past, but I can do what I can do right now today. I can get the flyers printed today. I can go stay into the commons area today. I can meet with the people on base today. I can network today. I can set up the social media page today. What can I do today? Like a lot of you who are here for this conference, you are here today to grow. You had somebody who believed in you, who wanted to sow a seed in you so you can see you go to the next level. They're investing in you for you to take what you have gained here and expose it and have it go viral on your campus that, hey, we are here to go to a next level. We are not here to be complacent. If you don't forget anything else that I've shared with you today, I want you to understand starting right now is imperative for your success. And not only just for student life success, but I'm talking about stop waiting on you just to be able to have a degree. I can't tell you how many people that I counsel when I'm speaking throughout the country and I'm traveling to people, and they have me have a sit down with the team and with some of the professors and then some of the administrative people, and they come to me and they share with me, well, what can we do? We limit people. It's the law of the lid, as John Maxwell shares. It's the law of the lid. The people under you can only go as far as you go. So if you limit yourself that all we can do is just one little thing as far as being part of student government or being part of this organization, then that's what the rest of the people are going to do. They're going to fall below you. So who told you that you had to wait to start your business until you got your bachelor's? Who told you that you had to wait till you had a master's degree? Who told you that the only way you could be successful is if you had a doctorate? Who told you that? What would we be if Mark Zuckerberg said, well, I can't do this social media thing. I got it in my mind, but I need to hurry up and finish all my degrees here at Harvard. And as soon as I get that down, I have a 10 or 20-year plan. Then hopefully after I maybe get retired, then I can start this little online thing that I want to do. What are we waiting on? It's the law of the lid, because somebody who preceded us told us that this is the only way that you can make it. So we have chained and bound our minds as far as creativity into believing and thinking to ourselves that it's no way that it's possible. And I'm here to share news with each and every one of you today that it is possible to do the impossible. It is possible for a kid that comes from a teen mom to be able to have a life of being an author, to be a coach, to be able to speak around the world, because I chose to change my thinking. I chose to realize that even though statistics said that I should be a menace to society, or I should be locked up in a penitentiary somewhere, or that I should be having AIDS or have several baby mamas, so to speak, that I'm able to be married, have a wife, have kids. My little boy, I just Skyped the other day or whatever. He's sitting up there. He's about 4 months and a half now. He's sitting up there. He's swimming in the tub. But all of a sudden, he sees his dad come on. And he's still trying to figure this FaceTime thing out. It's like, I know that voice, but where are you? What is this thing that I'm looking at? That's your face, Dad. But he's not able to share that right now. But I know he's going to be a speaker right now, because he don't wake up crying. His mom just shared on Facebook that he wakes up like his dad, and the first thing that he's doing, he's talking the whole time as soon as he gets there. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, y'all. So no, don't judge me on that. Don't judge me on that. But the thing that I want each and every one of you to know is, don't limit yourselves. Don't limit your organization. Don't limit your campus by saying, guess what? It's McNeese State. Okay, Daniel is at McNeese State. Okay, Daniel, you can't sit around there and think, well, McNeese State, that's Louisiana, right? Okay, that's McNeese State. Well, you know, we're not LSU. You know, we're not the Tigers. So, you know, when I went over there, they were doing this, but we don't have that budget. You see what I'm saying, Daniel? You and Hannah, y'all have to realize, like, hey, we can be more creative. We can think outside the box to do things that LSU hadn't even seen. You know, who said that was even a better school anyway? Who told us that? So it's the same way. What I have a friend of mine, one of my coaching clients, actually, his friend and coaching client, the same way. He came from a small school, but he ended up going pro in football. So do you know what? People don't care. Guess what? His account doesn't care what school that he attended. His bank account doesn't care about that. Just like a lot of the leaders, CEOs, and people who are change agents in our community and philanthropists came from situations or came from schools that a lot of us had never even heard of. So, because you're sitting over here and you know that you go to the bowl with Monticello, Arkansas, all right, the Mad Ark is in the building, people. The Mad Ark is in the building. All right, so just because you go there doesn't mean that you're limited. Is it Amarillo? Because you're in Amarillo, it's more in Amarillo than armadillos. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. It's more than armadillos in Amarillo. Okay? Now, I want to change this up just a tad bit before we carry on. And I just want to open it up to the floor for some concerns of some of the things that you might see at your campus or for your organization that you're trying to think of creative ways or ways that could help for the leadership team, ways that we can serve you in any way. Do we have any questions in the room from anybody? Do we have any questions? Don't be shy now. I'm not here to, you hear lectures all the time, okay? So this is for you to be helped and to be encouraged. So this is not for you. You can go to your professor and he can lecture you the whole time and bore you out your mind, but that's not what we're here for. Do we have anybody with any questions? Okay, well, I'm glad you did that. No, y'all kind of think I'm crazy. My wife says I'm crazy a little bit. Okay, okay. All right. Stand up to your feet, stand up to your feet, stand up to your feet. Please stand up to your feet. All right, y'all follow after me. Say, ora, ora, eh. Ora, oh, be the change now. Ora, ora, oh. Ora, oh, make a change now. Just throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. If you're glad to be at APCA, baby, let me hear you say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Put your hands down. Now I want you to find somebody. Look at them real quick. Look at them. Find somebody. Find somebody. Look, 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 look. Look, look. Say, I am. I am. Come on. No, we're not going to leave you out. Could you come here, please? Oh, you looking at me? Look at me in the eye. She got me. She got me. She said, I'm focused on you. Okay. Say, I am. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. I am. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. I believe that the impossible is possible. I will change my mindset and my situation. I'm ready to change everything about my school, my organization, my club, my group. I'm just crazy. Say, I'm just crazy. Enough to believe. One more time. I am extraordinary. I am. All right, give yourself a hand clap. Give yourself a hand clap. Give yourself a hand clap. I thank you all so much for coming out for this session. Like I said, you can find me at the booth at booth 71. I gave out pamphlets. If it's anything that I can help you with, if you just need to send me an email, I don't have to come to your campus. My main thing is to add change and to add value to your school, because if we have great leaders, if you haven't noticed yet, and a lot of people try to put blame in different areas, but I don't believe in Excuseville, but we are the change that we're looking for. We are the change. So if we want something changed, it's not going to start in Washington. There's no sense of blaming our school president. Don't even blame the advisor. It starts with us. If we want to make a change, it starts with us. But my name is Darren Palmer. I would love to autograph the books that I gave you all. And if you need to get in contact with me, my information is in the book. You go to that website and contact me. And if any one of you would like to share any testimonials, anything after this is over with, it would be much appreciated. All right. Thank you so much. Y'all continue to be extraordinary. Okay. All right.
Hi, I'm Daniel Robles, and I give Darren Palmer permission to use this. I really like Darren's presentation. One of the biggest things that I got back from it was to go ahead and seize the moment. Just do everything that you can today to make a difference in your campus, make a difference in your community. It was something that I plan to take not only to my campus, but just in general life. Something that I can really use to help myself and my community.
Permission to use my testimony.
Now you can say it on camera.
Okay. My name is Hannah Merrill, and I give Darren Palmer permission to use my testimony. And today in his session, I learned that change isn't going to come unless you put forth effort. And I'm extraordinary, and I can do things on my campus that others can't do. So all you got to do is get out there and do it and be the change that you want to see.
I give Darren Palmer permission to use. I'm Emily Sitaris, and I give Darren Palmer permission to use this testimony. Go. Today I learned that to be extraordinary is something special not everyone can do, and to bring back to my campus things that I want to see and things that I want to change, and to go out there and make the difference and influence others to make the difference.
And I want you to continue to be the change. Thank you, Darren Palmer. You have a good one.